Am I live yet? Okay, I'm live. Okay, everybody, Jonathan Road Games here. I actually had to change the capture method, which is why you guys are able to actually see my PC's UI here. Because doing normal game capture didn't work. Yeah, but yeah, anyways, guys, today I'm gonna be playing through a prototype that I created all on my own. Maybe with a little help with things I just could not figure out, but honestly, it's not much. Now this is like a prototype, and I did this within like 6 weeks, but I am planning on continuing this prototype into a full-fledged game later on. So yeah, this is Dungeon Genocide. Controls are on the left. The menu here is not scaled correctly. But yeah, to start. Story. You're a person that has a name, Walter. One day after Walter has his daily mug of water, he thinks to himself, I'm going to kill everyone on Earth with a mug of water. 3 weeks later, almost everyone is dead, and now you have to kill the last of the humans as you are no longer yourself. Yeah, it's very simple, and there's homing bullets, which you can activate and deactivate. You can run. Yeah, things. I need to make the UI here a little bigger, but yeah, there was absolutely no sprite work that had been done because well, I did this project on my own for a school thing, and unfortunately, I can't just bring in my one friend who does or who did a lot of my level icons. Speaking of which, you guys might be wondering why it's been a while since I've actually had a level icon done. Well, it's because he's needed to learn how to use different software. But yeah, this game is made with Unity, or this prototype. Not really a game, but yeah. Also, just note, with homing bullets as activated, the activated bullets will just go straight in any direction. But anyways, I was just emptying out my, yeah. Just to be clear, it's fun to use the homing bullets on the last level. Oh yeah, by the way, I should mention that there are currently 4 levels. Also, I'm not sure what causes this, but you know this enemy's just staying still. I'm not sure what causes that. There used to be a bug where that would happen, but that one I was able to consistently do, so I knew exactly what was causing it to happen. But now here, I just don't know. Like here, yeah, I'm out of range. I might want to increase the range. But yeah, if you know what I call it the level, which is you guys can see my mouse. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Go right here. I instead of putting love, I put love. The reason why is because it's just an Undertale reference. Also, I did get feedback. If I want to change this where it says water to being water remaining, or something to make it more obvious that's ammo. Yeah. Just keep in mind that I was not aware how good at programming I was. Uh, so a lot of the issues with feedback on this first level was that a lot of things weren't uh, obvious. Stuff that would simply put be fixed with a simple tutorial, which this prototype does not actually have a tutorial. So yeah. Now you guys thinking, why on earth did I set to live stream this rather than just record me playing this? Well, just because if you guys have like questions you want me to answer, just know it will probably be a while before this game gets released anyways. As it's going to be at least a year until I actually start full-blown development on this with a team. At the very least. It's probably going to be a little longer than that though, because I'm gonna get a job and I'm gonna just sort of do this with a small team and sort of like when um when I have free time. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this project. I didn't really spend long on level design because I didn't really give myself much time to work on level, so that is one thing that will be changed in the full release is just some actually good levels. But yeah, so your level resets in between levels or areas, whatever. I'm probably gonna name the level something else to not be as confusing. But yeah, today we'll be playing through all 4 levels. The last level does have lag. I'm actually not sure if that lag will happen on this PC. Yeah, there is also a pause menu, but I can't even click on the buttons. The buttons I think are set up, it's just I can't click on them because this pausing function wasn't set up properly. I can still press escape to unpause though. Yeah, if I remember correctly, we did get set up, but the pause buttons get frozen as well, meaning I can't. Uh, yeah. This is also one thing I'm gonna try to do. The full release is I'm gonna make the homing bullets work better. First things first, they will not be able to track through walls. Actually, come to think about it, pathfinding for both the bullets and enemies will purposefully go around walls. Something that, first things first, I did not have enough time to do. Another thing is well, not necessarily a programmer. The fact I was able to do as much as I did is kind of surprising. Also, it's just fun to use the homing bullets right now. The full release, I might have this, like, once you beat the game, I might have this as, like, a setting that unlocks once you actually beat the game, where you can have homing bullets act like this. Just for the fun of it. It would be a toggleable option, by the way, from, like, the setting thing. Daisy, stop kicking my door. Sorry about that. Well, my dog's deciding to kicking indoors is a good option. Oh yeah, also this build has the debug mode, which isn't really all that exciting. I personally just like having it active because I can see the total bullet count. Here, I'm gonna have maximum 60 bullets. Hmm. There you go. There you go. Haha, they can't follow me in here. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Also, one thing I would have done if I had enough time was to, during classes, I would have made some of the later enemies actually shoot projectiles at the players. Not the early enemies, though. There is random lag. I'm not sure what causes it. It's weird because in these levels it's at consistent parts of the level, but even if the reason is consistent on said part of the level, it's just with the specific parts of the level. That'd actually be a cool idea. Make this like a sort of like a roguelike. Hmm. I just thought of that. I'd have, if I wanted to make this a roguelike, I'd have to make the XP scaling different. So like I have like starting HP. Stuff. I feel like this would actually be a good roguelike. Like you'd naturally get stronger in each run, and then let's see, what's the maximum amount of volts I can have? Okay, so 131. And we're about to get to the final level. Yeah. Honestly, this dungeon would be the easiest of them because this level set would be. Also, for make this roguelike, I would have to add in like RNG. This level, by the way, homing projectiles is just completely useless. There's a reason why I have a setting for you to turn off. Also, the homing projectiles was like a last minute addition. Like literally, I added it in yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before yesterday. Yesterday's when the project was due. So no, actually, since I'm given the option, I will continue using this project for all the lessons. Also, the teacher really does like the. My teacher really does like the name. Uh, no, it's just like a lot of the other names I've come up with. It just sort of is one I just randomly thought of. It's like, you know what, that sounds kind of good. So let's go with it. Although the name for the game came first before the name of like there's no name like literally anything else in this game. Also, yes, Walter is a pun. Also, yeah, I don't know what's the cause of this lag. I tried to figure it out. I couldn't, but it's like specifically that once you're down here and enemies start tracking you. Used to be over the entire level if enemies were tracking you, but I fixed it. I don't know. Doing one of the things that I'm planning on doing with this game will most likely fix the lag. And that's just simply enhanced pathfinding, so enemies aren't trying to hunt me down through the walls. Another thing, and this was something that suggested to me, and I was thinking about this, but like, I'm just a single person, and I don't know how to do this. It's like, I'm gonna take a little dungeon crawler thing where every room in the dungeon is loaded separately, so the only rooms that are loaded at any one time are the room that you're in and the room that you're entering, if you're entering another room. I tried adding a thing where it would load in enemies, but first things first, the victims left counter here didn't quite work. Another thing is that the loading system itself didn't work because I turned off the enemies. They were essentially, like the game thought they weren't, or acting as if they weren't in the scene. So yeah, Regardless, though, I had a lot of fun with this, and I've spent like 3 weeks working on it, and it's one of the 9 enemy types that are in this game. Actually, come to think about it, I'm not even sure how I'm gonna do the thing with only certain enemies or shooting bullets. Actually, come on, that would be easy. It's just an it's just a boolean that I will manually set for the enemy type in the prefab. Also in the prefab, I'd manually set up which bullet does, because obviously the different enemy types are going to have different bullets depending on this. That will be how I'm going to understand. So yeah. Also, one thing that will be in the final game is a full-fledged tutorial, which will not be a part of the actual dungeon itself. If I do decide to make this a roguelike. Also, if I do decide to make this a roguelike, the different areas are like different areas you will have quick movement too. Also, I would have the leveling. If I were to do that, the leveling up would persist through things. Just different areas would have like higher enemy scaling. Which I can imagine that enemy scaling is gonna take freaking forever. Also, I fixed the thing which made enemies to kill while you're leveling up. It's honestly really simple. The enemies track how much damage the player does, and then their health equals their max health minus the damage that had been dealt to them. It was really simple. But I also did something to get rid of the downtime of waiting for the player to level up by making it so player at higher levels it levels up multiple times. Starting with 500, you actually level up 500 every single time you reach the XP gold. Now, what are you guys thinking? Wouldn't that just be overpowered? Well, you still have to get those extra 500 levels of worth of XP before you can level up anyways. So you still have, so essentially, you still have to get the same amount of XP you would normally get to level up each time. It's just you level up a lot more. Which works in my favor, because I didn't actually need to do anything, because the math already handled that. There you go. 100,000 because... Yeah, I think the final thing is once you reach, like, level 50,000, um, once you reach level 50,000, every single time you reach the XP goal, your love goes up by 25,000. I think yeah, that's the final one. On later levels, I might add in more. And actually, I think this kind of works in the game's favor for later on, anyways. Gosh, though, I do wish I knew what was causing this lag. I know at some point, though, it's like, I think it's like 180 bullets from the player, the game will start to lag. But when I'm done here, I'm gonna see if it's only does that if homing bullets are turned on, or yeah, or if it just does that downright. I have a feeling it's just because of the homing bullets. Actually, I think it's because technically there are a ton of hitboxes. Also, I have a feeling that's partially what's causing it to lag here. It's just the number of hitboxes. To be honest, it took me 4 hours to get this leveling up system to work. So for those who want to make a leveling up system in Unity, I would just say this. The easy part is actually getting it to work. The hard part is just balancing out whatever you want the... It's just trying to balance out what it... Because I spent like, I think it was like 2 weeks trying to balance out the leveling up system. So yeah. Also, the bolts used to cause so much lag, and then I changed it. So once the bullets get into the enemy's detection radius, they they then set their current transform position to the enemy's hurt box. I set it to the hurt box because honestly it's just easier to call out the hurt box rather than calling out every single enemy type, because the hurt box has a tag, and yeah, and also the hurt box is there to prevent the enemies from getting knocked back. One thing I might do in later revisions is make the enemies faster. Yeah, also, you might note that this level has orange on the outside. That orange is actually just the death plane. And so, yeah, and you may note that they were not on the other levels. Well, that's because the final boss has a tendency of things clubbing out of bounds. More specifically, enemies and the boss itself, and well, as how the game is programmed, that's a soft lock if an enemy gets knocked out of bounds. Also, one thing to note is for right now, with the boss, for whatever reason, when you hit the boss, it just starts dealing damage, dealing the damage that your bullets do once per frame, rather than just when a bullet hits it. But yeah, and one thing I know is I think that stacks. Wait, love 4,500. I don't remember you being able to reach this level. Alright, I have the enemies in this level. As such, I doubled the amount of XP everything gives. Do you think the max love would be the same amount? Right? I guess the math makes it more than 2 times, even though I put the times 2 at the end of the math. Also, I made the enemy count to say victim stuff, but I'm not sure if that's like what I want it to be called. I think I might want to just say targets remaining rather than victims left. That's one thing that was brought up to me is like, why does it say, also I'm love 1 million? What's odd is I didn't actually think there would be a level where this is possible to reach. No, in the full release of the game, these levels will not exist, although I will probably update them. Or more specifically, these levels will not be in the campaign, although I will probably put these dungeons as like bonus dungeons. As I do plan to have bonus content for actually beating the game and 100%ing it. And this came out of the first official appearance of the glitch. Although technically the one Project Arrhythmia level he's in right now is technically an official appearance since he is my character. But official game appearance, I guess would be more accurate. Like official released game appearance or something like that. Hmm. Boss is gonna take a while. Huh. I didn't actually realize that you'd be able to make it to level 2 million on this. Or level 2 million on this level. See, I think about now I should be able to reach the cap, which I think is 378. Also, by the way, that bullet count does not just count the player bullets, it does count enemy bullets, but you may note that none of these enemies use bullets. Well, that's because the final boss does. Final boss has 2 things it can do. You can see how those bullets are going through the wall. Also, one thing I know is that I put a limiter on the enemies. The game just does not seem to care about that, by the way. The limiter rate is set to 25. Also, I don't think the bullets properly home in onto the boss. Yeah, they don't home in onto the boss for some reason. Yeah, when the game's lagging, it's easier for the enemies to get pushed through the walls and stuff. Also, if the boss gets pushed through the wall, the boss will die as well. It won't die right away, but if I'm right, it should die within, like, a few frames. Because, unfortunately, I can't just set its HP to 0 once. I had to create a whole new variable. Yeah, but anyways, me knowing that there's a higher max level on this level, or higher max love on this level, as you can see that. Also, one thing to note is, the boss's HP going down does not freeze during, or when the game is paused, which is most certainly a bug that I noticed while playtesting this level. I thought I playtested this level after making the changes, and I don't remember the love being able to get so high. Also, the boss can have, have up to... Oh, I need to let my dog out. Yeah, boss bullet, or an enemy bullet limit is 250. If I can figure out how to optimize game, I might raise the limit. Actually, come to think about it, I'll just... Also, the boss's HP and stats are directly tied to the player. I think by default the boss gives you 1 trillion XP as well. Also, with my new uh, system for leveling up, once you reach a certain level, I might make it so the enemies here do give you XP. Oh yeah, there's also something I failed to mention. The scaling between all 4 levels here is different. For both the player's stats, as well as the enemy scaling. If you hadn't noticed, on level 3, the enemies, or those blue enemies, took a lot longer to kill once it got to level 6. The blue enemies that are currently bombarding me. This boss is gonna take a while to kill. I bounced this boss around the player level being level 100,000. And that 200,000 seemed to be perfectly balanced, but yeah, I'm still gonna play through all the phases of the boss. Also, these enemies are supposed to disappear after 6 seconds. It doesn't appear like they do at all, so yeah. Oh, I just realized why I'm at level 2 million. If you look over there at the debug thing, I accidentally turned on a thing called Mega XP. Now what Mega XP does is just increases the XP that enemies give by a bunch. It's just something for the fun of it. There's also a thing called insta-kill, which does not insta-kill the boss, but does insta-kill all normal enemies. Um, so yeah. Yeah, the things I did or added to this game yesterday were, I believe it's just the death plane, as well as the thing which is feedback to if homing bullets are on, as well as the running. But yeah, anyways, this guy can summon in all the enemy types except for the basic. Phase 1 is just the blue guys. Phase 2 is the purple guys, which Phase 3 is the small white enemy. Um, the Phase 4 is the cyan, or kind of lighter blue enemies. Phase 5 is the magenta enemies. Phase 6 is the gray enemies. Phase 7 is the black enemies. And then phase 8, it can summon in all enemies. Now each enemy does have a different interval. Just pretty much their spawn time is listed in the phases, or just pretty much based on what phase they spawn in. Normally, with these guys spawning every 5 seconds. Actually, I need to see. That's one thing to do. When I continue working on this project, I note that the spawners here ignore the one thing. I wonder if I have it set to uh if the enemy counter is equal to 25 instead of equal to the limit, instead of equal to or greater than the limit. That might be the case. But yeah. Also, the game completely breaks if there isn't a boss or isn't a final boss in the scene. Not sure exactly why, but there has to be a final boss in the scene or else the scene breaks. So I added a setting to try to fix that and it didn't. Yeah, but anyways guys, I call it here. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I need to find my rest. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Until next time, hold on a second. Till next time, stay out of this world.